Hey everybody, this is Justin with electricbikereport.com, and today we're going to be reviewing the Model R from Electric Bike Company. It is their rugged hybrid city cruiser e-bike, and there's a lot of really cool things that they've done with this bike. Kind of bottom line, it's a bike that we really like. It's really well priced, starting just at $21.99 with all the different features and high quality components that you get with this bike. We do think that's a really good deal. So we'll go into all those details in our review, and I hope you like it. As with all bikes from Electric Bike Company, the Model R comes pretty much 100% assembled. It arrives in one of the biggest boxes we've ever seen, and all you really need to do is unbox the bike, attach and tighten the handlebars, and then adjust the seat. Being made in the USA out of their California factory, Electric Bike Company also quality inspects the bike before they ship it to you, so you can be very confident that everything is assembled correctly, and that you won't need to take the bike to a local bike shop and pay them to assemble the bike for you. In all, it took us under about 10 minutes to unbox and assemble the Model R. Assembly is fast, easy, and we think this process shows how meticulous and consumer-focused Electric Bike Company is with their entire process. So before we take it out on the road and ride the Model R, I wanted to kind of take you through some of the key specs, some of the key features, some of the key things that we think are important to know before you decide if this is the right bike for you. And first thing that I want to highlight is just how the bike looks. You know, when I take a step back and just look at this bike, it really is a beautiful bike, is at least what I think. I love how, because they paint and assemble everything in their facility in California, you can choose the paint color. They've got over 10,000 different color options because you can do different colors on all these different parts of the bike. You can even send them your own custom paint color and they can match that. So it's a beautiful bike. So now let's talk about the electrical parts of this, and it ties into the look. I love how they've put the battery in this down tube. So ours is the 11.6 amp hour battery. You can get a 14 amp hour battery, and you can get an additional 30 amp hour battery that goes in front. So when we're talking range, we're talking up to 180 miles. No, that's not throttling 180 miles, but you might get about 80 plus miles even at the highest assist level with the 14 amp hour battery here and the 30 amp hour battery in the front. So you really can take this thing and go far, which is just fantastic. These tires, they're 26 by 3 inch, and they were developed with Continental, so a great tire company. And they were developed for Electric Bike Company. They're puncture resistant. They feel and they grip really well as you're kind of, going around turns at speed, and just super impressed. In fact, when we took this out on our first kind of range test, this whole town had just been flooded almost, and there was stickers and sticks and just all kinds of things on the trail that a couple of the other bikes that we took out actually ended up with like a lot of punctures. These held up just like champs and just did fantastic. So love the tires, and it adds to that rugged feel to it, as you can even kind of deflate them just a little bit to give you a little more cushion for off-road if you want. Speaking of kind of cushion, the Model R has the front fork, which gives you, some kind of cush there. You can get the rear with the suspension, and that is one thing that I would say I can't recommend enough. It just adds a little bit of spring to the seat here, and just when you combine it with this is honestly one of the most cushioned seats that I've ever sat on. When you combine those, it really makes for a nice, more of an off-road ride that just feels like you're cruising along the beach. Going to the rear, the motor here, it's a 48 volt 1250 watt rear hub motor, so you get a lot of power. We'll show that when you ride, but it really does get up and go. Love that. But given how fast you can go, it's important that you have good brakes, and that's one thing that we look at on all e-bikes, and this bike really has outdone itself, especially at this $2,200 price range. They added the Tektro Dorado disc brakes. Okay, so what that is basically, these discs, the rotors are 180 millimeters, and they've got a 4-piston disc brake. So that's almost like mountain bike quality disc brakes, right? But they also took these rotors and they made them 2.3 millimeters thick. So you really have a lot of controlled stopping power, and I love how they feel when you're going from high speed coming to a full stop. They just perform really well. Another thing that I want to highlight is this front chainring. It's a 56 tooth front chainring. And so what that does is at speed, if you put it on like assist level 4 or 5, sometimes bikes, it's just like you're pedaling and it's not doing anything. And if you had a larger chain ring like this does, you're still doing something and you're actually able to go a little bit faster, a little bit farther. And that's really nice that they've done that. Love this, you know, it's a 7-speed Shimano Altus gear system, so that's a good quality gear system. Overall, just all of those components done in such a sleek design just makes for a really good quality e-bike, especially at this price. And then the last thing that I want to show you is some of the accessories that you can add on it that just make it more functional. This front basket bolts into the front here. You end up with a light on the front. You also have some lights here and on the rear. But going back to the basket, it has a really high weight capacity. And when you turn, if you notice, the basket doesn't turn. So if you're full of groceries, if you've got some eggs or milk or whatever up there, and you're turning, they're not going to dump and spill out. So really kind of nice, and you can see, I mean, this is really high quality mounting there. And that really good option if you are looking for something to carry stuff. Or you could go with this system as well. So this is a system they developed with ebike, and it just snaps in and out, and I'll see if I can do this, you know, under pressure, but it's actually super easy. You just take this key here, it just goes underneath here, snap off, snap on, and it's just really quickly, easily removable. So you have a lot of functionality built in with that. So again, go to our website for the full specs, but those are some of the key ones that I think really matter in terms of operating and really enjoying the bike. Okay, so now we're gonna jump on the Model R, and I'm gonna kind of try to give you an idea of how it feels and performs while you're riding it. One thing to note, so as we get started here, you're gonna notice it's real easy to get started. So I'm in a lower gear, I'm in gear 2, definitely easy to kind of get going. So now, as we're kind of riding the bike, I wanted to take you through kind of how it performs when you're riding it, and give you the best idea that I can, you know, watching through a YouTube video of how the bike feels. Because in general, it's just a really good, solid bike. So it's a cruiser, as you can tell from the geometry, but don't let that make you think like there's not a lot of power. The battery really is a good, powerful battery, powerful motor. You can really get up to speed really nice and easily. You know, I'm in gear 6 right now. You know, assist level 3, I mean, I'm not even trying, right? If I did need a shift, like down to 5, up to 7, it shifts nice and smooth. The Shimano derail gear does a really good job. And so again, just really smooth shifting, real comfortable bike to ride on. But I want to show you, again, because it's a cruiser, this is kind of a cruiser with some power. So we're going to kind of crank it up, and I'm going to show you what this motor can do. We're going to open it up, see if my camera guy can keep up, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to get this up to speed. You know, 20-25 miles per hour really is easy. So I'm going to kick it up to assist level 5, and here we go. Oh, so you got to hit the brakes. The cameraman can't keep up. Let's see if he can go. Let's get up to 25. Let's go, Bryce. Okay, so hopefully in the wind you can still kind of hear me, but I'm right at 20. I can get up to 20. I mean, you can see I'm not even having to try to get to 20 with the throttle. I can just kind of coast right along at 20. So a lot of power on the bike. But one thing that I still like, it's very comfortable. Like as I'm cruising along, I feel very comfortable, even at speed. I'll fall back a little bit, and now keep going, Bryce. I'll fall back so I can get up to 25 here, and I'll show you how even at speed, you feel very comfortable. Just crank it. So yeah, up to speed, I'm still just very comfortable cruising along. Handles really well, those tires grip well. The bike just handles fantastic. But even at speed, I always know I'm in control with these brakes. So we're gonna stop here, and I'm gonna show you the kind of the stopping power of those Tektro Dorado brakes. Here we go. Yeah, so as you can see, the brakes are really good, high quality brakes and have a really nice stopping power to them. So as you can see, really powerful, both on the motor, the stopping power, etc., but it's also just a very comfortable bike. This seat, the saddle is one of the most comfortable saddles that I've sat on. I mean, on my test ride, I did over 30 miles. We had a couple other people do over 30 miles. And it's just, you're not gonna get sore riding this bike. It's fantastic. One part that adds to that comfortability, you'll see up front, you've got that front fork, and it really does just absorb. You can see there. And it just makes this a little bit more of kind of that off-road type, vehicle. Like if I want to go off-road here, it absorbs that really nice and easy. The transition is smooth, so you can take this off and do some gravel, in addition to kind of cruising around the beach. So the other thing that makes this just very comfortable is you can tell from the geometry, it's a cruiser bike with these long swept back handles. I'm upright, so there's no strain on my neck, there's no strain on my back, there's no strain on my backside because of the seat. And it's just a very comfortable bike. Okay, now the one thing with the comfortability that I would actually highly recommend on the upgrade is that you can get a Suntour seat post that adds a little suspension. And when you're going over little bumps like this on this bridge, I mean, honestly, I'm fine, but you can tell from my voice is going up and down a little bit. If you add that Suntour seat post, it makes it even more of a comfortable ride. And so even though this is the Model R, it's the rugged version, you can take it off a little bit. Adding that extra suspension just really does give you just a little bit more comfortability with the bike. So now, and kind of one of the last things I want to show you riding this, is just the power up the hills. We've talked about the power. I want to show you what it's like. This thing really does flatten hills. So I'm going to put it up in 5, and I'm just going to basically power up this hill. And I'll tell you, this hill, it sucks if you don't have a motor. So I'm even hitting the brakes so I can kind of keep up or slow down with my camera guy. But you can see, even with the throttle, I'm totally fine going up this hill. Lots of power, flattens hills, which is one of the main reasons why you buy an e-bike. And so we love that about this. Okay, so kind of from a bottom line performance standpoint when riding the bike, kind of the best way to describe it that we've come up with is the Model R is kind of like a large luxury vehicle that just kind of glides wherever you're riding. It's a fantastic beach cruiser, does a really good job on trails, on the roads, and even if you want to take it off-road a little bit like we've shown, it handles that really well, feels very comfortable. It's just a solid bike that really will do, it's going to fit for a lot of different people. Okay, so bottom line, you can tell that we really do like the Model R from Electric Bike Company, especially at this price point, right? Where it's starting at $21.99. There's just so much value in this bike that we're really impressed with what they've done. Electric Bike Company is a company that stands behind their products, and it really shows in the details, from the tires to the brakes to the front chainring to just everything about this bike. It really is good, high quality. And no, it's not a $4,000 or $5,000 e-bike, but it comes with a lot of really good components. So it's a bike that if you're looking for a cruiser style bike that's a little bit more rugged, has that nice suspension, this could be a really good bike for you. And another thing that we almost can't say it enough, but Electric Bike Company builds these in the United States. Now, no, that doesn't mean that the brakes, Shimano and all that stuff is manufactured here, because those parts just aren't manufactured in the USA, but they paint the bike here, they assemble it here, they do everything in their facility in California. And so that means someone is here checking the quality of the bike. It comes almost fully assembled with everything just tested and checked at the factory here. And so you can feel that quality throughout the bike. So again, just bottom line, we really do like the bike, and we think that you will as well. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you have additional questions or comments, obviously down below, leave those questions in the comments. There'll be links down there both to the bike at Electric Bike Company's website and our full review at electricbikereport.com, where you'll see all the specs and pictures and everything there. So again, I hope you like that. Please, if you haven't done so already, like and follow us on YouTube, and have a great day.